information do you get from social media, from your phone, from scrolling through your phone about food, about exercise, about finances, about how to live your life, how to be happy, how to have a great life? It seems that this thing is controlling a lot of our life. But how do we know what we see or hear or experience on our phone, in social media, on the internet, is real? How do we know that it's true? And of course we don't, because the world is filled now not just with humans talking rubbish, but we've got robots. We've got, I don't know anymore whether what I'm watching on YouTube is actually a real person or if it's a robot talking. And often now we have YouTube clips where there's not even a person there to talk. There's not somebody looking at you like I am. It's just words. And is that a robot speaking or is that a real person? The reason I'm asking is that a lot of people will swear by a supplement, an exercise program, a dietary advice from a social media influencer. There's always somebody who'll tell you, you should do this. I did it, it worked for me. I tried this, I got it from the internet, I got it from a celebrity, I got it from a sports person, I got it from a social media influencer, and it worked for me. So does that mean it's going to work for you? And these are just questions. But here's one of the things I've taken note of, and I've been an exercise professional all of my life. I've been a personal results coach all of my life, and I'd obviously like to be science-based. And when I say science, I'm talking about anatomy and physiology. What is the human body made of? Anatomy. How does the human body work? Physiology. And then if you have that knowledge, you can now analyze for yourself whether or not a diet, eating plan, exercise plan, pill, powder, or potion is actually going to work for your human body. But it seems that most people don't care about that. And the reason I know that is as the owner of an exercise college that teaches people their anatomy and physiology so they can analyse exercise and eating plans for themselves. Most people that come through our program aren't interested in learning their anatomy and physiology. They just seem to follow the crowd. So what's right about the crowd? And as an old person who's watched pills, powders, potions, fashions, fads, all sorts of different exercise programs come and go over the 50 plus years that I've been doing this. It's just been interesting to watch how humans follow the crowd, listen to what an expert says, does what everybody else is doing. And as an old lady, here's where I'm at. I don't care. I'm sharing that because as an adult, you can do whatever you want. And what I've taken note of, and this is the whole reason for my headspace today, is that if you think it's going to work, is it possible that it will? So when somebody says, what's the best exercise program? What's the best eating plan? Should I take nutrition supplementation? What should I spend my money on to get healthy, fit and strong? Here's a great question to start with. Is it possible that if you spent a lot of money on something that you want it to work? And if I take a pill, powder or potion and I've spent a lot of money on it and I believe it's going to work, is it likely that it will? And the behavioural scientists and the psychologists and psychiatrists all share with us that the placebo effect, which is just sugar water or a sugar pill, but that if we believe it's going to work, it absolutely does. And there's so many research studies to show that, where somebody's given a supplementation pill, an actual pill, and the other group of people and I say groups of people, so not just one. So some people are given a sugar pill and some people are given a nutrition supplementation pill, and they all get the same result because they all believe that it's going to work. The reverse of that, if you spend money on something but you're skeptical and you don't think it's going to work, if you believe that it won't work, is it possible that it won't? So what does it really matter about the science or the research or the clinical research studies that say this pill, powder, potion is awesome, or this diet will work for you, or this exercise program will work for you? What are the things that actually make things work? And that's my big question. Why does something work? Why are some people healthy, fit and strong, lean, energetic, love their life, and other people are fat, sick, diseased, depressed, and even though they try every pill, powder, potion, exercise plan and program on the planet, nothing works for them? What makes something work and what makes something doesn't work or won't work? And is it possible that's all to do with our headspace? After the many, many years I've been doing this, I think there's only two things that are really important. One is you've got to believe it's going to work, and two, you've got to stick to it. So if you can't stick to it, if it doesn't fit into your lifestyle, if you can't afford to keep doing it, if it's not something that you can do for the rest of your life, then is it possible that it's not going to work? Because I have a lot of interesting observations where people say this is the best pill, or this is the best powder, or this is the best exercise program. but they can't afford it for the rest of their life, or they can't stick to it for the rest of their life, or it worked for a short period of time but not for the rest of their life. And my simple question is this: if you can't do it forever, then it doesn't work. So it doesn't matter how good an exercise program is or how good a diet is. If you can't do it for the rest of your life, then it's not going to work for you. And I'll rephrase that. The people that I know, and there's very few people like this, I get that, but the people that I know that are healthy, fit, strong, lean, energetic, don't get sick, don't get depressed, and they've been that way for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, they don't have a diet. They don't have an exercise plan as such. They just have a lifestyle. They eat a certain way every day, all day, every day of their life. They exercise a certain way every day for the rest of their life. And I can share that that's a very personal thing for me, because the way I eat and the way that I exercise hasn't changed. I've had the same energy level, the same weight, the same size, the same attitude towards life all of my life. Nothing's changed. I don't ever go on a diet. I don't change my exercise program because of the weather or because of my energy levels. I just exercise every day, whether I'm sick or healthy, whether it's hot or cold. Doesn't matter. I brush my teeth every day. I have a shower every day. I eat food every day. And I exercise every day. And I have done since I was 10 years of age. And I don't share that to impress. I just share that because as an old lady now who's healthy, fit, strong, energetic, lean, and I've been this way all of my life, it hasn't been because of a pill, powder, potion, diet, exercise program. It's been a lifestyle. So if somebody gives you a pill, powder, or potion and you believe it's going to work, then surely it's got to work for the rest of your life, not for a short period of time. If you spend money on something but you can't afford to do it, and I'll rephrase that question, are there people who have never taken a pill, powder, potion, nutritional supplement ever, and they're still healthy, fit, strong, lean, energetic, and they have been all of their life? And the answer is yes. So could that mean that you don't need a pill, powder, potion, some kind of dietary plan, some kind of exercise plan to stick to? Is it possible that if you change your lifestyle and you become a healthy, fit, strong person, because you get puffed, that's how you get fit, you lift heavy, that's how you get strong, you have a positive mental attitude, and that comes from having a healthy, fit, strong body, is it possible that you wouldn't need any other supplementation? I'll rephrase. Are there healthy, fit, strong people in third world countries who can't afford any kind of pill, powder, potion, nutritional supplementation, and they are healthy, fit, and strong? And is it possible they have to be healthy, fit, and strong? They've got no choice. They want to stay alive, so they do whatever it takes to stay alive. And that's where it always, for me, comes back to the hormonal system. For me, the most amazing system inside the human body is the endocrine system, because that's the one, that's the fight and flight system that wants to keep us alive so we don't die. The one that makes us thrive, which is emotional stability, emotional strength, mental toughness, so that we enjoy our life. And obviously the third part of that is to reproduce, and the world we don't grow as a human race if we don't reproduce. Now, I'm past reproduction stage, so I don't talk about that anymore. But for me, to have a healthy, fit, strong body means a healthy, fit, strong hormonal system, which means I don't need pills, powders, and potions, and I don't need an exercise program to tell me what to do. My hormonal system says you need to move, you need to breathe air, you need to go to sleep, you need to eat food, you need to drink water, you need to be mentally tough. And all of that comes from being fit and strong. So what if, and this is just a big what if, there were no pills, powders, potions, exercise programs, social media, there was no phone, there was no somebody that you could go, I need you to help me with my exercise program. What if you just got really fit and really strong? So what if you got really puffed to get fit, lift heavy to be really strong, and then you let your body look after you? And it's one of my favorite questions and one of my favorite quotes. If you look after your body, is it possible that your body will look after you without pills, powders, and potions? Now, the reverse of that, because I'm an adult and I get that everybody gets to do what they want, and you're an adult, so you can too. Are there people that rely on nutrition supplementation? I'll just use that as a simple example. There's lots and lots and lots of analyzation, I know that's not a word, but I love it, of pills, powders, and potions. Every so often, a university will do a big research study and they'll have a look at the most popular protein powders, the most popular nutritional supplementation, the most popular vitamins and minerals, all of that stuff. They'll have a look and they'll analyze what's inside them. And what they usually find is that what is on the packet isn't what's in the product. So it's either has not enough of what they say it's going to, or it has too much, or it has foreign substances that nobody knows what it is, or it's just a powder of nothing. And it's a very expensive powder. I'll just give you another example. If you were to Google this right now on your phone, skim milk powder, how much protein is there in skim milk powder and how much does it cost? And you can get a cheap, no brand skim milk powder packet for about $10, $12, $15, depending what country you're in. You can have a look at a protein powder, which could be $100, $200 for the same size packet or bag or box or container. And it has, the skim milk powder has more protein in it than the protein powder. Or it has the same amount of protein as the protein powder. I'll give you another example. I live in the South Island of New Zealand. There's lots of dairy farms here. The dairy farmers make the most money from selling their milk to protein powder companies and skim milk powder companies. But the skim milk powder companies are no different to the protein powder companies. It's the same product, it's just labelled differently, marketed differently. Now, I'm not trying to convince you not to take protein powder. What I'm sharing with you is that lots of the time, the stuff that we believe to be true, the stuff that we believe to be awesome, that's going to add value to our life, that we spend a lot of money on, is just complete BS. But if it works for you, it's not BS, is it? If you think that taking a protein powder is going to help your muscles grow or give you more energy or help you train better or whatever you believe that thing to do, if you spend money on it and it works for you, then congratulations, that's awesome. We're all adults, we all get to do what we want to do. So rather than judge people for what they spend money on or how they eat or how they exercise, my old lady's life experience just now says, I know that I can be healthy, fit and strong without pills, powders and potions. I know that if I've got a healthy, fit, strong body and a healthy, fit, strong hormonal system, that my body will look after me. But what I'm really not going to do anymore, and I'm tired of doing because I've been doing it all of my life and it hasn't worked, I'm not going to try and convince people that how the human body works, and it's not my opinion, it's how the anatomy of the human body works and how the physiology of the human body works. I'm not going to try and convince people anymore that you should do what your human body's going to do. Because what we don't understand is how strong the brain is. So I can tell you that a protein powder is a waste of money and a waste of time, but it isn't if you believe that it's the right thing to do. If you want to spend your money on a powder and you believe it's going to help you, it will, and you can spend your money on whatever you want. So my judgment, my analysation, my research, my study, all I'm here to do every day is to say, I'd love you to live your life to the max. I'd love you to be healthy, fit and strong. I'd love you to have a career or business that you love. I would love for you to be financially free, and I would really love for you to have great people in your life. To me, that's what happiness and having a great life and living your life is all about. But if you want to live your life to the max, you have to do it your way. Don't let somebody else tell you what to do. Be really careful about the people on the social media and on your phone and on the social media influencers and on all the websites that tell you what to do. Why not work it out for yourself so that you know what's best for you? You know what you like to eat. Why would you eat stuff that you don't like? You know how your body works best. Why would you let somebody else tell you? You're an adult. Live your life to the max as a healthy, fit, strong human being if you choose to. And can you choose to? Hell yes. Live your life to the max. Woo-hoo-hoo.